Right, let me just quickly go to twitch.tv/atish music to make sure that we are actually live. Let's see if my computer can handle all these things running at once. And we may get to see ourselves in the past. Oh, well, it looks like we're not live. Let's check on Facebook. And if I am live, this is going to be somewhat awkward. Atish is live now. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome, welcome to Discord Demo Day, formerly known as Feedback Friday. My name is Atish.
And I'm Tash.
And this is Tash joining us from Somerset, England.
Somerset in England currently, yeah.
Awesome. Very happy to have you here as the guest feedback giver.
Thank you. Very happy to be here, mate.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Tash and I, we've hung out a few times. We spent a couple sessions in the studio, once in Brooklyn, once at your beautiful place in LA. And he's an expert producer. He makes beautiful music. I'm a big fan of his work. We both played Elements Festival too.
And Desert
Hearts. Yeah. So he's gonna have a lot of great complimentary and supplementary feedback to give, and he's an all-around great guy. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'm gonna wait to actually I'll plug your things multiple times as people come in, but definitely be sure to check out Tash, TACHES. Check him out on Spotify for his music. He has an awesome YouTube channel, and I'm not just saying that, it's really great. Particularly your intro video on your YouTube channel, which is the best way I've ever seen someone ask people to sign up and pay you money. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. And there's a lot of really, really awesome educational content there as well. And actually, just like you, I also run a Patreon artist mentorship program. And I send your videos to my students because they're so good.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they're really
good. That's
awesome. And also he runs a really cool label called Glitter Cowboy. So definitely be sure to check those out. And how are you doing? How's the last pandemic been for you?
Well, I mean, it's been an ongoing process of, of little ups and downs of suddenly thinking that everything is opening again, and then it just lingers on. And I think there's been a lot of loneliness, a lot of frustration, but definitely a lot of creativity. And I wouldn't have started the YouTube channel if it hadn't have been for just the incessant boredom that is drilled into you by a lockdown for a year. So, yeah, I mean, not too bad. I'm alive. All of my loved ones are alive, so
awesome.
Couldn't really complain.
Happy to hear that.
How about you?
I mean, for me, it's been life-changing. I mean, my wife and I, we had a baby, so that's been pretty. I mean,
congratulations.
Thank you. There's no better time. On one hand, having a kid during a pandemic is terrifying, but also, I'm just home all the time with this like cute baby, which is the best. It's really, really like a special time. So we're having fun here for sure.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Creatively, have you found the pandemic has been, a good way just to get a lot of ideas down, or have you been spending time on, other things like YouTube, or how's that been for you?
I think YouTube for a good portion of maybe sort of the first third of lockdown, I wasn't really making too much music. I think I sort of got a bit maybe like mildly depressed in a way that I couldn't really write stuff. So that's what then led to making the channel, because it was like, well, I still know all these things. Maybe I can then pass on this information. And I honestly didn't start with the intention of making loads of videos. I just made a couple, and just the response that people gave, particularly Americans, about my accent, I think it just allows them to maybe like look past the kind of poor editing at times and the fact that maybe I slip up on my words. It's like, well, at least I slipped up with a funny accent. But yeah, I think I've been making a lot more music since being in Somerset and being completely on my own, and I see no people, and that's been really hard for a while.
Yeah.
I've had some dark days, but I've made some of the best music that I could have ever done to sort of describe those feelings. And I've been singing a lot, and I got my drum kit set up, and I got all my guitars. So it's like, you can be lonely and sad as fuck, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep working. And, pressure makes diamonds. It just they just spring forth these beautiful pieces of music. So yeah, God bless lockdown.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. 1 second. I'm just seeing in the chat, some people are saying there's an issue with the Twitch stream, so I'm just going to check on Twitch. I'm just going to reply in the chat and say I'm looking into it. Let's see. Sorry.
Where is the chat?
Technically, it should be at twitch.tv/atish music, but some people are saying that it's not quite working on Twitch for them. Maybe I'll just push people to Facebook instead. I'll say, in the meantime, head over to facebook.com/atish music. And I'll mention that in the Discord. Twitch might not be working. Check out facebook.com/atish music. Okay. That's what happens when you're on the air live. Things go wrong. But it looked like Facebook worked, so that's good. Okay. So, glad that the pressure has revealed some diamonds. Glad that you've been productive, and sorry to have to go through some dark days. But today, let's spend some time jumping through some demos. So for those of you who are watching, you can submit demos through my Discord channel. You can get there at atishmusic.com/Discord, and then there's a Discord Demo Day channel there. And we'll try and make it through as many as we can. Last time I ran out of time, so if you are supporting me on Patreon, we'll prioritize your demos first, and let's see how many we can get through. And oh, Alex, I'm going to join you, and I'm going to crack open a beer here.
What have you got?
This is a Lagunitas IPA.
Oh, delicious. I'm on the old Red Stripe, which I've just learned from Atish is actually a Jamaican beer. I said I've bought all of my American beers. I'm surrounded by reminders of the home country, or the heartland, should I say.
Awesome. All right, here we go. So this one is from Gutsbo. We're gonna jump to him first because he's supporting on Patreon, and let's jump right into it. So far, seems fine to me. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, it's a nice mood.
Yep. That's a nice sound. Okay. Oh. No change? Here we go.
Oh, I'm hearing some there's a subtle sound there that I think so far everything is melodically, musically, harmonically. Like, I really like it. I think the mix down, I'll come back to that in a sec, but I think there's a sound that just happened maybe at like 1:15, like a sort of riser sound in that is, at least to my ears, like particularly disharmonic. And
All right.
I think it takes away from that the third or fourth bass note as that steps down, that kind of metallic rising sound behind it just takes away from that release of having now moved down a bass note, I think.
Let's
but yeah,
jump
keep
back.
going.
All right. I'm actually just going to jump back to 1:15.
Yeah. It's like a.
Yeah. There's a little bit of dissonance there. In the meantime, I'm gonna restart the stream on Twitch.
Musically, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It ticks all the boxes that I'd want from a track like this.
Yeah. The piano feels a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like very, very stuck, and it doesn't fit the vibe for me. So, like, I mean, both of us just kind of like jumped on it. It kind of sticks out a bit, right?
I think also though, the problem is you've created this very interesting dark mood at the beginning, to then have what sound to me like just simple piano triads, especially the type of piano sound. It's like a kind of Ableton stock piano.
Exactly.
I think if you were to play it in live and maybe add some extensions, or maybe not play the root and the fifth, just literally play extensions on like a nice felt piano, that could work. But also, I don't think held chords really work with this. It slows it down. Having that diggity arp thing work that.
Yep.
Or maybe had a pad.
Yeah. Let's see where it goes. But yeah, it had a nice like gallop, kind of like me moving forward, and then it dragged me. So let's keep going.
I do like those sounds in the background.
Yeah.
That's a cool ambient.
Yeah, I like that too. This whispering or yelling really far away.
Yeah, it's like a crowd going wild. One thing I feel about the mix down as well, though, is it's just a little bit too polite. I feel like a lot of the sounds in there would do well for you to just like. Sometimes people say to me, I do a good mix down, and I honestly don't see it in myself. I just do a functional mix down, something that to me means that whatever sound I thought was the coolest is the loudest. And oftentimes, the kind of things that we lean into that are maybe bad habits are the things that create style. And this could be something that maybe if you have that kind of like very subdued, everything is very far away. It's almost like the equivalent of applying how like the Drake beats that sound underwater. It feels like that of a mix down for a song that maybe should feel a bit more aggressive. But then again, personal taste. So lean into it if this is something you like doing.
Yeah. I think it's a personal taste. My thought so far, and let's see what it goes, it feels really clean. But let's see. Okay. I might just jump forward a little bit. Let's just jump into the breakdown, just in the interest of time.
Oh, I like that sound.
Yep.
Oh, I always love a texture like that. Throw as many as you can into a track.
Oh, interesting. It feels a little... Well, let's see how the payoff is. It's... Oh, interesting.
Oh!
Okay. And then I'm just gonna kind of jump just through the little things here. Okay, some new things came in, the little ding ding. Oh, it's very uplifting now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a few more things happened, but just in the interest of time, I think we got a good feel for it overall. Alex, do you want to lead with your overall thoughts, or
I think there's a lot of great ideas in there, but the execution of it, I think, could be better. It could like the song, the arrangement could be better suited to, I think, having a bit more dynamics as it goes throughout. Because I think having where that first drop is after the mini breakdown, that drop feels to me sort of the same as the second part of the intro. And then to have that big breakdown and then have the drop again, even though it does change and it suddenly becomes a bit more uplifting, I'd like to see filters opening up more, and I'd like to see all sorts of crazy noises, and I'd like for the song to feel like I've deserved a big breakdown rather than sort of then coming back to something I feel like I've already heard in the track. But lovely sounds, though. I love the idea, and I mean, you've got a personal style. Just keep working at dialing that in.
Yeah, my thoughts. I think overall, I think there's great melodic ideas in there. We talked about the piano thing. I think the breakdown was quite a big breakdown, maybe a bigger breakdown than the payoff warranted. And as Alex touched on, and this is a big thing, when you have the payoff after a breakdown, give the ears something a little bit new or something surprising. And it can even be just a new combination of previous elements that you had. It doesn't have to be anything super dramatic, but I didn't feel a big payoff after the breakdown. The vocals kind of took me by surprise in the breakdown, which is good. I like being surprised. But I'm just wondering if maybe you could, I mean, there was some hinting when we heard that whispering, but maybe just something to kind of preview my ears a little bit before it got there.
Also, just make things louder.
Yeah, just make things louder.
Just turn everything up. Maybe turn it too loud and see how that feels. But just maybe step outside the comfort zone of trying to make it sound mixed. Go less mixed and go a bit more kind of wild. Pick your favorite sound and make it really loud.
There you go. But overall, nice stuff. Yeah. Oh, and I'll just leave it at that. Just in the interest.
So I love your cheeky smile in the press shot.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Okay, so let's jump onto. Oh boy, my computer is tanking. Let's jump onto another submission from Patreon. We have. I think I remember seeing one from. Where is he? Drew Proud. He is part of the artist mentorship program. So let's give this one a listen. Woo!
That's mastered.
I'm just gonna turn that down a little bit. Thoughts so far, Alex?
I love the feel of it, but one thing I was just about to say is that we had the same thing happen there, where I felt like I was being taken on this journey, willing to go wherever you would take me, Mr. Drew Proud. But then, in some ways, I felt a little bit disappointed that you brought me back to the visiting room, with that little mini drop. But the sounds are fucking epic. Oh, one other thing I was going to say is having a kick like that, a very punchy, clicky kick. I wouldn't usually go for that kind of kick, but that doesn't mean I don't think that that's quite cool at the right place. And this is right for that. However, I would keep the clicky kick on the quarter note. So the boom, boom, boom. Have that clicky kick all you want. But where you do sort of the 16th note after the kick, the bu-bu, and then having double kicks, like boom, 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 make the kicks that are filler kicks more filtered. Because then it takes away from the power having the click on the 16th notes. I'd make it so it's like clap, boom, boom, clap, put it on another channel and filter it. Make it a bit quieter as well. But yeah, it sounds really cool. I like where we're going with this.
Right on. Oh, and I've actually heard this before. I worked on some feedback with him, so I'm gonna lean on you a little more on this one because Drew and I worked on this one a little bit, but maybe it's evolved since where we've heard it last. But I do agree with you also because this is to further your point, this is a very in your face kind of thing happening right now. So once you have those little ghost notes in your face too, it's a lot.
Let me automatic. You're automatic. Stuck like this forever. You're automatic. Can a pretty silhouette. Sink your teeth into my neck. Loan it to me. You're automatic.
Cool sound.
That's what baddies for tonight.
The thing about the vocal, I think,
Baddies for
the mood that you've created with the song is very like cool and dark, and bar the couple of things I was saying before, like you've created something here that feels genuinely very like cool. Like this could be played in some industrial kind of like futuristic bar where everyone's a biker, but like an alien. But the thing about the vocal is I don't think the performance, obviously this is a remix, but I don't think that the performance of the vocal, it holds a candle to the mood you've created there. And I think it's just, I don't think the vocal fits. But then again, it's a remix. But I would say you can get away with having a poor performance of a vocal if you just distort the shit out of it. Because I think that would work really well with this. If you did like a massively compressed, forget the reverb, make it super dry, and just distort the fuck out of it, like it's coming through a guitar amp, and just make it nice and squashed, no dynamics. Like that's the thing you would never hear me say. I love dynamics, but get rid of all of the dynamics and distort it. Maybe, I don't know. But I like the mood where you're going with this. I'm just not a fan of the vocal.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
tonight. It's what baddies for tonight.
Oh, I do like this one.
So, the what?
Yeah, I do like that bit.
Oh, yeah.
There I go saying I don't like the vocal.
It's what baddies for tonight. It's what baddies for tonight. It's what baddies for tonight. With gold fusing us together.
Little change.
With
Sorry?
Nice to have that little change up.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, and that is nice, especially to strip it back as well. But I'd get rid of the click on the kick for that bit.
gold.
Back in.
It's also nice. I mean, I like that. I think the rhythm of the bass, the bass rhythm has changed.
With gold
Actually, never mind.
fusing us together. We fell down naked on the floor of your apartment.
This is nice.
Of your heart
This is cool.
meant.
Drew, this has come a long way since we visited this in the last session. It's really come together nice, man.
That is fucking cool.
Automatic. Left me waiting, not a corner for your boy.
Oh.
So not cool. You're automatic. Hey man, mon amour, baby driver. Tiger, je ne sais quoi. I'll fight ya. Hey man, mon amour.
You could even play with the kick. I completely agree with filtering it down. And maybe, if you're not doing it already, maybe even play with the kick being a different pitch, just like a few half steps or a few steps, just a little bit lower, kind of like a sub kick, just to give it a little variance in addition to the filtering.
Hey man, mon amour, baby driver. Tiger, je ne sais
Love the
quoi.
hats.
I'll fight ya. Hey man, mon amour.
Oh,
Yeah, this is
sparkles.
sick.
White gold, fusing
Yeah.
us together. White gold, fusing us together.
Okay, I'm gonna, just in the interest of time, I think it's clear that we're both pretty happy with this one overall, right?
Especially that bit that's just happened. I don't know if you know the song. There's a song by Miguel Puente that samples like one of those R&B acapellas that everyone had in 2013. Search for Miguel Puente, and there's one song, just like maybe his biggest song. That sound, it just does something to me. The do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, especially with those like claps that come in. Really cool vibe towards the end of this.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with this, and again, like I said, I think arrangement-wise, this has come a long way from where we saw it last. It rocks. Yeah, super cool. And also, Drew and I, we were talking about, and I think he resolved a lot of the issues, but before I was getting a little bored during the arrangement, and we were talking about maybe do like a radio edit since it kind of has this like indie poppy feel. But actually, my attention has been hooked for the entire 4:39, and I'm happy to go all the way to 6 minutes. So I think he walks that the line between both worlds of kind of a indie kind of rock song structure with a bridge and a chorus and all that, but it's still a house tune, at 6 minutes for DJ playability. So it walks that line well, and I think that's really cool.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're just gonna stop there. Great job.
You should be proud, Drew.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. All right, I see I just got a message from Volunteer, another Patreon supporter, but I can't find it. I remember seeing one. Well, sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, and I have to refresh, because if you have two SoundCloud tabs open at the same time, it disables the audio in the second tab, which is horribly annoying. Okay. Okay, this one's 10:54, so we'll do some.
It's the short version.
Yeah. So
I guess that's a joke, and I think that's fantastic. You need to call it the short mix. I love it.
all right. Michael, aka Volunteer, can you share? I think I know the answer to this because we talked about this. Can you share in the Discord what you're going for with the 10-minute 54-second track? Because Alex, I find that when I give feedback to people, a lot of times the feedback can only be as good as how closely it aligns with what they're trying to do. So I think I think especially when you have a track that's 11 minutes, it's important to know what's the artist going for. But as we listen, let's see if he shares that in the Discord.
I'm a huge fan of long songs, by the way. Huge fan.
Oh, Alex, small note. I got a message in the chat. There's a little bit of feedback coming from your speakers. If it's possible to switch to headphones.
Oh, yeah, sure. There we go.
Okay, ready? Resuming. That's a quite nice torch you've got there, Alex.
Look at this.
Woo!
This is excellent so far. Take my money. I'm a sucker for those percussions.
Yeah. Subtle, soft percussion. It's just lightly.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's just like lightly. It's not overly compressed and in your face, and like it's sophisticated.
Dynamics, baby.
Yeah. Oh, Alex, could you speak a little closer to the mic if possible?
Yes, I can. I can also turn it up a bit now that I've got the headphones off.
Cool. All right, I'm just gonna, since we have 11 minutes, I'm just gonna jump forward a little bit. But so far, we like it.
I have nothing to say other than your comment that you've already written needs mixed levels. Cool. Nice. And you've nailed the vibe you're going for.
Okay, very cool. Just gonna jump a little bit. Ooh, I want to hear that.
Yeah. Om Namaha Shiva.
Perfect. Okay, so Michael, the artist, said, here's what he's going for. The label owner has asked me to do a 30-minute version, which is why this is the short version. I'm also going for something understated, and this was based off a Tosh track.
No way!
Well, there you go.
Fuck yeah. Well, that's why I love it.
Yeah.
We like the same things, clearly. Yeah.
Ah.
It takes me back to so many dance floors at like 4 in the morning, like wrapped up in a fur coat.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, a new sound just came in. So what's interesting there is, which I think in contrast to the last or 2 tracks ago, I think we didn't get anything new when the beat came back in here, but I didn't mind.
No.
And why do you think that? Let's just listen to that again, because I want to analyze my own feedback, because maybe what I'm saying isn't entirely accurate. I think it's the same groove we heard before, right? Yeah.
I think when you find, I mean, this kind of music, you're making music that is just the modern equivalent of tribal music from generations and generations. This is folk music, what you're making, but just with a dance approach. And I think what's cool about that is that if you find a rhythm that makes you move in a certain way or feel a certain way, you can fucking loop that for 30 minutes. Release it.
Yeah.
I 100%, like, I mean it when I say that this is dope as fuck, but just, yeah, the levels need to be mixed. The mix down on this is just the only thing holding it back from being like a 10 for me. But
Awesome.
yeah, incredible.
All right, I'm just gonna jump through a little bit further. I mean, it seems clear that we like it here.
And also using the, I think it's like a duduk, maybe. I'm not sure what flute you use, but I think it sounds like that Armenian duduk sound. I love that, and it just works so well with these kind of slow rhythms.
Yeah, a new vocal sample coming on top. Okay, we got a new shaker layer on top.
And that's all you need. When you do understated, when you do simple, and you find something that works, you could just add like a snap on the 4, and that's a new thing, and you suddenly go, because you're asking for me to pay attention.
Oh, it reminds me stylistically a lot of. Do you ever listen to Kora? Kora.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of that stuff where like it's pretty stripped, a lot of dynamics, and just like a little like open hi hat or a little triangle hit will be like it's like because less is more. It doesn't have to do too much, and the fewer things you have it doing, and the more dynamics. When those things happen, they're that much more powerful.
Oh, one note I have on that. I think the idea of like minimalism is, it's very widely talked about in art and especially in music. It's like, try and do as few things as you can to make the best outcome. But I'm also a huge believer in maximalism, in that like fit as much shit as you can in as possible. However, and this goes for like my view on everything in life, don't do anything in the middle. What's the point of like sort of like fill your soundscape to the max and you've created something very interesting, or strip it back down. But I think one thing that makes me love a song is ticking one of those two boxes. Like when I just don't know where to look, or when I just can't look away because it's just so hypnotizing. And you've nailed that with this, so fuck yeah.
We're having a good day today here. Lots of good stuff. All right, I'm going to jump forward a little bit because we're already 36 minutes in. We're only on the third track, but mostly, or fourth track, but mostly because we're just enjoying this a lot.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, and then this last break here. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Well, I think the jury is in. We like it. It sounds great. Unlike Tosh, I usually don't like tracks that are very long, but this one, I think, especially for what it's trying to do, I think it works really well.
Can you send me the 30-minute version, please?
I'm sure he'll be happy to do that. But this gets both our stamp of approval, and I think. Mike, I think I remember us looking at a very early version of this that you were working on before, and it's come a long way. And yeah, we're on a streak here. We're hitting a lot of good stuff today. Cool. Let's jump to the next one. Great job, volunteer. I was gonna look for one from Reza.
You won't be volunteering for much longer.
Let's see, Reza MT. Okay.
Judging from the name, I'm going to need my little finger symbols.
Keep them handy. Oh, actually, we're at the 40-minute mark. Just a quick moment just to do a couple plugs for those who weren't there at the beginning. We have Tosh here. Awesome guy, really, really great producer. He has an awesome, funny, fun, educational YouTube series, so look him up on YouTube if there's a good chance you're a producer if you're watching this. TACHES. Check him out on Spotify, and be sure to follow his releases on Glitter Cowboy. And on my end, be sure to stay tuned on the Discord. I also run a Patreon program. You can support me, just as a fan supporting an artist, and I also run an artist mentorship program. Career, business, production, DJing, technical, many facets of building an artist career. So you can check that out at patreon.com/atishmusic. All right, let's jump into Reza. let's pause here. Alex, what are your first thoughts, or do you want me to go first?
I think the way that you begin it for the first 7 seconds or so, like I like how in your face it is. Like this is an intro, but like this is going to be a big song. But I think the arpeggiated sound, like the first, before we did a full loop around of what the progression is, I was a little bit confused harmonically where we were going. But I think the third or the fourth chord is like a kind of Phrygian something or other that ties it together nicely. That's like, oh, okay, we're in that kind of feel. However, I would love if that arpeggio didn't have so much reverb and it also was filtered as fuck for the beginning. And like, I don't mean putting a filter on it and automating it up, but I mean like taking a MIDI controller and just playing with it. Like maybe even at 17 seconds in, open it fully, but like do it intuitively in time with what you're trying to create with this. And I think you should just do a bunch of passes through of I mean, we haven't got to the end of the song yet, but even from hearing the drop, I would like to hear a little bit more humanity in the arpeggio, and that would just be done by doing it by hand with a knob. It's not personally the kind of music I would usually listen to, but I think for what you're going for, like you're well on the way for making something quite cool and odd. So yeah.
Reza and Reza submitted a track last month actually, and I said exactly the same thing about that track that you said here, which is like the first 10 seconds, like you got me hooked, and then after that, I think this one too. Especially this long intro, it's like meandering. I'm getting a little bored. I agree with you on like the lush reverb. It's just like really big and it's taking a lot of space.
I would happily have that reverb and I would happily have the intensity you've made, but I want that at 4 minutes in, And the other thing I was going to say is that little breakdown section before the drop. It's cool how you then sort of you bring out the bass in that arpeggio a bit. I think you high pass it a bit, and then you also low pass it, but not progressively. It sort of just low passes straight away, and then we get that little knock or that little pluck sound, and that little knock, little hit sound almost sounds like something you accidentally left in because it's a bit loud, a bit too dry, not necessarily the right sound for this. So I would remove that knock or add more sounds, like a shaker to accompany it. But I don't think the knock can stand on its own.
Word. And one thing to add, I felt like it didn't feel like there was a payoff when the beat came in. I mean, it's a dramatic, and we'll see where it goes. And I've heard this before. I kind of know where it goes, but this far in, it didn't feel like there was a clear payoff. Okay, we get a little bit of
I was gonna say,
movement in the ARP there, yeah.
2 minutes, 10 seconds would probably be better for the first. I like where you've gone with the intro. Do all the filtering and stuff, but maybe the first drop should be whatever's about to happen now, where it dials down. Like I almost think after that arpeggiated breakdown bit, filtering, I don't want the ARP back full velocity. That should be at that big middle drop bit almost. But again, I don't know where it's going, so. Yeah, this is fucking cool. Make this the drop. It would be so unexpected to drop into this. Love this. Keep the kick going. Keep this vibe.
I like that. Yep. Perfect. So, just a fun fact: Reza's musical background, he does scoring for film and TV.
And this bit is stunning.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally imagine this as a soundtrack to a pretty intense moment, and I think it comes through because it's very, very musical, and as
very
you were saying,
picturesque as well.
Yeah. And similarly, how I felt last month and how you feel now, you weren't exactly sure where to place it. And I said that last time, like, I'm not sure, is this trying to be a club track or something for a live set or listening music? And I think that's reflected in where his background kind of comes, which is it's very compositional, very musical, and not predictable melodically in the same box that most house and techno fits.
Stunning piano sound. That's what I'm talking about, like a nice felt, not the Ableton stock piano.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Get rid of the ARP.
yeah. That felt like a payoff to me there that time.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
I think honestly, my only note for this is just get rid of the ARP. The ARP like completely takes this down the wrong, like you have the wrong expectation from the beginning, and it's sort of like, I think it would put a lot of people off who, if they'd got to this point, they would fucking love it.
Yes, I agree with what you said, and to further that, when you hear it at the beginning, and I don't know if this is if this is a rude word, it feels man-trancey at the beginning. It's almost kind of like, oh, I've heard this track or this ARP or that sound, a million times before. So my mind is kind of pre-biased to think it's going to be this thing that sounds like everything else. But then we hear this really cool stuff with the piano and the melodic stuff. So I didn't have
that little bit going into the breakdown. Like, if you were to remove the ARP and make it so that what we drop into, that first drop, is that bit that is sort of leading into the breakdown, but keep the kick in, then do that thing that you've already got going into the breakdown where the kick starts to come out. I would listen to that section for however long that ARP bit is. And then as it goes into this piano and this drop, like, yes, it's a total 10 if it wasn't for the ARP. And that little plucky, like, little knock sound at the beginning. But yeah, this is amazing.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to jump through quickly, and then we'll get on to the next one.
There it was.
So this is, sorry to interrupt your groove. My opinion, and I wonder if you might differ, since this to me feels like a maximalism moment. There's a lot of melodies going on. There's a lot of sounds going on. To me, I'm not sure if there's too much going on, or they need to be shaped a little bit better in the mix so they can all stand out from one another. It doesn't perfectly sit right for me, but what do you think?
I think, yeah, the arpeggio, like I like it a lot more here, because again, it feels like you've bought me dinner before you tried to sleep with me, But I sort of agree with Atish in a sense that it could do with a little bit tightening up. But on my point of maximalism, yeah, this is cool. We're 4.5 minutes in. Fill up the canvas. What you could do is maybe trying and like making the ARP have like an auto pan on it or something, so it doesn't ever stay still, So if you have something that's moving throughout the stereo field, it becomes less important and it becomes less noticeable, because it's sort of like this wishy-washy extra thing. And I think the ARP would probably do quite well to be relegated to sort of like, sitting on the bench a little bit, well, sliding up and down the bench. But yeah, like I really like it. But yeah, I'm really impressed with where this went after, a minute in.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to quickly jump through a couple times. I love that like drill sound coming in. It's just like, yeah, really, it's like this is a movie. Yeah. Ooh.
That could be the drop, the first one.
Yeah.
Just restructure it with the same pieces you already have.
So that synth, like you're playing with the texture really nicely there, where it doesn't feel super stock and straight ahead. Let's just jump. Yeah, that top one, I liked it.
Yeah, really cool. This is now going into the next track in the DJ mix.
Yeah.
Oh, I want this earlier. Yeah, I respect that you left this till the end, and then because it's like now I need to listen to the song again to get that bit. You know.
But yeah, overall, Alex likes it. Drop the ARP, play with the arrangement. I think those are the two kind of headline points essentially, or the ARP you liked later in the track.
Remove the ARP up until the bit which I said would be cool to auto pan it, and just see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't have the stems in front of me, so maybe if you remove it, you lose something. But if it does feel like it's lacking, give it 5 minutes. Try if you can do something with all that classical piano scoring film. Like try and add a bit of beauty to the beginning, like we then get. Maybe just a subdued beauty, because yeah, I just feel like some people could be scared off that would become really good fans of the song.
Yeah, I mean, you can even start with, one of those piano lines at the beginning. It's setting the motif. It's saying this is the idea of the track. It's super stripped, and then kind of build from there. But yeah, overall, I like a lot of the ideas in there. Me personally, I feel like it's a little too in my face with all the elements kind of going on at the end. But that's again just a matter of personal taste. I think arrangement-wise, a few things could be tweaked, but the musical ideas in here are really interesting. And I double down with Alex said. The piano just sounds really, really nice.
Amazing. Razor sharp.
Exactly. Nice. Okay, I think we've made it through all the Patreon supporters, so let's jump into temporal order. And if you are subscribed on Patreon and I missed it, just paste it again in the Discord and I'll get to it. All right, this one is from OCD. Oh, Alex, I had a question for you, actually. In your YouTube videos, do you have a teleprompter, or are you speaking off the top of your head, or is it memorized? It's like a 10-minute video of you speaking to the camera. And for me, to do like 30 seconds of talking to a camera, I can't. It takes me 50 takes. Like, how are you recording those videos?
All I'm gonna say is it would ruin the magic if I gave you the answer to that question.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, they're really good. Yeah,
I use a teleprompter.
Got it.
But I sit down and I write the speech with a coffee, usually in the morning, and then I read through it a few times just on my notes on my laptop, and then it only usually takes 1 or 2 read throughs. I've got this amazing app that syncs your iPad to your phone, and you can press play on your phone. So if you look around my waist, and you'll see that sometimes I press something.
Oh, now I feel bad for revealing the magic. I was hoping you're gonna say some kind of deep fake AI where you just record your face there, and then the mouth just automatically fills in with the text. But
that would be easier. If anyone on this Discord, anyone on this chat can hook me up with some sort of software that could do that for me, I'd make way more videos.
For a 10-minute video, how many? And you don't have to reveal this if this is I don't know. How many takes does it take you to do?
2 or 3.
Wow.
That's what I was saying. Is I just read it through a few times. I'm quite good at reading. I've always been I'm quite good at talking and reading, and I think naturally the inflection or the way that I add pauses and stuff, it very quickly when I write how I speak, so it's quite easy for me to then read what I've written out. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it. Yeah, I guess it's just I make it a big font and just be patient.
That's good. My wife, she's a professional voice actor, so she does this for a living for TV commercials, whatever. And she's always, whenever she walks into the studio when I'm doing a voiceover, she's like, "It sounds like you're reading. It sounds like you're reading." She's just whatever. So it's you're a natural at it. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to. All right, let's jump. So this is from. Oh, his name in Discord is OCD. His SoundCloud name is Wave, and this is Restless. kind of. Oh, okay.
I wasn't expecting
No,
that.
I wasn't either. I was just saying, kind of waiting to see where this goes, and then something happened.
It happened. Finally, something's changed.
I'm a sucker for a girl talking over a beat.
I don't know how
That
to
chord
feel
makes
about
makes sense.
this. Am I sad? Or am I glad?
Okay, I like this pad coming in the background, or that synth.
I feel the pain inside my body. It's overwhelming, everything I have inside me. And I try to realize that life goes on.
So overall, I'll go first this time. I like the melodic ideas, especially when that little bouncy thing came in. That chord that you pull in at the end of the 4-bar phrase. I like that. It defines the feel. When that ding 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 ding, when that came in, it all, for me, it comes together musically nicely. I think it sits well together. There's something, and I'm gonna reflect on it more later on. There's something which feels, I don't know what it is. It feels a little stock, or it feels dry, or texturally, maybe it's the groove. There is something that I'm yet to define that's, despite the fact that I like the melodic ideas, it's not all coming together for me as something that I would play, or that it feels unfinished-ish. So that's my half thought, 224 in. I'm going to think about what that missing thing is. I don't know what it is yet. Alex, what are you thinking so far?
I agree with Atish in the sense that the music in this is excellent. This is something I would absolutely play if it fulfilled the criteria I'm about to mention. So I think also, continuing on with what you were saying about it feeling a bit stock with the rhythm, the drums, you've gone for very organic sounds. You've got like a conga or a bongo, like a high conga or a low bongo in there, and it's got a bit of reverb on it, and you've got like shakers and little knocks and stuff. But the problem is you're using very organic sounds in a very inorganic way. And to me, it means that like I can't, like I was listening to all the music in that, going like, yeah, now give me a moment when it feels kind of like fill in the gaps with the rhythm, and it just doesn't happen. But what I would suggest that you do up until the drop, whenever that is, a minute, is I would suggest, this is just me saying what I would do if this were my song, and like frankly, if I had the melodic part of that in one of my project files, I would be very happy with myself. So you should be with yourself too. But what I would do is I would layer, and this is just how I make my music anyway, I would just layer like loads of percussion loops. So like a bunch of congas, a bunch of like bongos, and a bunch of like just mixed percussion loops, and just get the levels right of them so that you create this dense bed of organic percussion. And then when you get the drop, the thing that's missing for me is that you have this nice kick. The kick is fine, it's brilliant. And then you have that bass, and it's quite a mid bass. It's very mid-range, which again is cool because that leaves you a lot of space to play with the sub. And there isn't any sub play in this yet. However, if you were to fill, I don't know whether you're using Ableton or Bitwig or Logic or whatever, fill up a drum container, drum machine, drum rack with loads of kicks, loads of them, all of your kicks. This is actually something that Atish messaged me a little while ago about one of my tracks, about how I did the bass in one of my songs. And in a lot of my songs, I don't actually have a bass. If there's a thing that sounds like a bass guitar, it is a bass guitar, but I don't really use a bass. I fill a drum rack or whatever you would with loads of kicks, and then I just basically filter the shit out of that. So we're only getting the sub out of all of these kicks. And then I'll just literally click in and just fill in the gaps of what makes these interesting rhythms, because all of these kicks will be in the sub register, but because they are different kicks, different lengths, different tonalities, you'll end up with a very cool rhythm that when somebody says, like, if you were to try and sing the bass line, you can't, but it will be stuck in your head and you'll be trying to sing it. And if I heard when that drop happened, all of these like, if I heard that with all of that music, like, I would have my hands up on the dance floor. I may even get on the dance floor, like get up off the couch.
To or supplement what Alex was saying, and there was a good video James Smith shared in the DJs and producers channel, and it's a flag I've been waving in feedback is having multiple bass sounds. Is so, I mean, it's not a necessity by any means. It depends what you're doing stylistically, but it can make a groove. I'm just repeating what you're saying. It can make a groove an order of magnitude more interesting.
A million times.
I'm not as much in my grooves. I don't use as many loops. There's that's just like a stylistic approach. I'll use kick 2, or I'll pull in a lot of one-shot samples or add different types of textures for my bass, but both Alex and I were approaching it from different ways, but saying the same thing. Having a lot of variance in your textures coming from different palettes in your sub bass and your bass can go a long way. And I think, in my own journey as a producer, when I listen back on the stuff I was creating when I started comparing to now, my sophistication and complexity in my bass is really what's made my music sounding more complete or more interesting on the floor. So we're both beating that drum, so to speak, pretty hard.
Oh, and the last thing I was going to say on that is when you have that bass that you've got, the mid bass, and I said if you add some sort of sub thing, and say, as Atish said, multiple bass lines, add a third bass line, it will sound really muddy and it will sound bad. But what you can do is you can just remove sections of individual bass where you would rather the other bass play that part. And instead of then having one bass line, you have this interconnected talking thing where you've got the sub suddenly making space for this like lower mid, and then overall you've got that high mid bass line. That would make this track a 10 for me. If you make the drums feel more organic and you make it a bit more interesting in the sub. Because if you played this really loud on function ones, I think the music would blow me away, but I would just be expecting a bit more sub. I'd be expecting a little bit more of a dance in the low end. So
awesome.
Far, again, 2 minutes 24.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Super cool.
Yeah, that was nice. I also like that you don't go up to that chord every single 4 bars or every single 8 bars. It's special when you rise up to that chord. So we
very restrained.
We loved it when it happened, and you didn't hit us over the head with it, which was nice. There it is. I don't want to jump ahead. Yeah. Woo! There you go. Oh, nice.
10 quid.
I don't know how to feel about this. Something fishy.
One
Yeah,
thing I have to say straight away. So, what's really cool about that, and I maybe we were talking about it on another song before, I forget which one, but having a drop, like that's a very small drop. Okay, I'm going to preface that by saying it's a small drop. However, it's not because of the pullover of the breakdown. The breakdown extends into the drop and dies down by about 4 bars in, which is very cool trick because you can allow a smaller drop if you have that tail over of the reverb and that noise, whatever it is that creates that texture. I'm happy with this going back to being simpler than the breakdown. Excellent fucking work. Like really, really down.
Yeah, super cool. And again, it's revealing itself, and kind of what Alex said makes it clear to me. Yeah, my ears are just begging for a couple more kind of loops going on there, just like here, like yeah, in the bass there, and also I just want like a moving kind of like some kind of like shaker, just kind of like galloping, because that bung 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 bung, like I'm like
Play it.
oh yeah. Oh! Oh, there is a shaker here.
Oh yeah.
There-
Another one. More.
yeah. It's
Louder.
yeah. Maybe dirty it up a little bit too.
Filter it and drive it.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I like that he added that like hand percussion layer underneath. It's like nice. Oh, it's gone now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, I think we listened without skipping. Yeah. We like it.
If Wave would like this to be a collab with me, I would happily do a bit of production on this. Like I absolutely love it.
Wave, you should definitely take him up on that offer. That's a huge compliment. Yeah, there's
I love it. Really fucking cool.
great stuff in here. I think it's like at that 80% point, and just filling in those last bits to make the percussion a little more gallopy, a little bit more full. Great. We're happy. Man, we're hearing some good stuff today. This is awesome.
What a great day.
Okay, so just going back to the top of the list, we heard OCD. Great job. You should be really happy with that work.
Amazing.
Next we're gonna go to Howl.
ong.
How ong.
How long? Oh, I get it.
Oh,
How
oh.
This is how it should start.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, already, I'll say, a lot of the time in tracks I hear, it will give too much away with vocals, right at the beginning. And it's
Which can be cool, but I think in this case it would be better to hold that back a bit.
yeah, let it build.
15 seconds in, like I like it more than I did at 0 seconds in. And
Yep.
if I didn't like it at 0 seconds in, I'd do the next song.
Yep.
You could also start it like this.
Yeah. I think the use of the vocals is it doesn't sound like everything else. Yeah, it's cool. I'm not.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that's a 909 open hat. I'd like it if you used. I mean, again, I would like to hear a 909 hat up until the drop, or until 16 bars after the drop, because having that open hat, like, it sets the tone that, like, you're about to make this fucking massive, which maybe you are. We're not into it yet, but if it doesn't get bigger than it already feels, I would suggest maybe dialing down even the decay on the hat, just to make it a little bit more subtle. Or get rid of the clap at the beginning as well, because then when we get the clap in the open hat, it's like, ah.
Yeah, I'm building my thought on that big tom hit, and I'm gonna hold feedback on that to see where the meat of the track goes. But it's like hitting me over the head with it. But let's see where it goes.
Love those chords, or that lead in the background.
Oh. That was a unique arrangement thing. You don't hear that too often, where he gave us just 2 kicks. It was like, I don't know what I think of it yet, but I'm just going to go back just to listen to that again.
It's unexpected, that's for sure.
Yeah. I like the idea. Let's hear the rest of
the idea, but to me it doesn't quite work, because it feels like the drop is starting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily feel like a moment of increasing the intensity of the breakdown so much as like giving us a preview of what the drop could be. And for that reason, I don't think it works. But for the idea of it, of having like a big kick, I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe just dial down the amount of other things happening. Maybe like get rid of the clap, get rid of the hat.
Ah, yeah.
And the tom.
Yeah. Oh, there it is again.
It would be more effective if that were the first time it happened.
Exactly. Yeah, where he dropped out all those elements when he gave you those 2 kicks.
Yeah, that works. That's cool.
Yeah, you called it.
I'd get rid of the hats here as well, completely. Really unique. Oh! That's when the open hat should come in for the first time.
Yeah. That swinging top loop that just came on, it's kind of sticking out to me like a sore.
Because it's not swapped like the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, they have different
Obviously
swings.
swung.
Yeah, very different swings. If sticking out to me, I would
If
maybe
you
just...
added some more things that were all different swings as well, you can get away with it. But I
Yeah.
think in a case of having things that are opposing swings or opposing groove, the more the better. But don't do as two, because it sticks through.
Yep. I mean, I guess that bass has a swing to him, boom, 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 boom. But
Yeah.
it does have it. It still sticks out to me though.
Love that little kick fill.
I feel like everything is loud. Kind of going back to the dynamics. It sounds to me, and I'm not the master of the mixdown, but it sounds to me like every element is compressed pretty heavily, and I don't hear. And that was maybe that tom that was kind of banging me in the head. I'm not hearing a lot of dynamics in the percussion.
I don't know whether obviously again we don't have the project file, but one thing I would suggest to you is go to the project file and get rid of everything on your master bus, and maybe just like try and make it feel interesting and dynamic as a quieter song, and then when you master it, it will feel a bit better. But I don't know. Again, I don't know the specifics of this, but it feels very loud in a way that it's like the mastering is just a little bit too intense, maybe.
Yeah, the whole thing could just be slammed.
Maybe if you turn it off, maybe all the sounds are really compressed as well. I don't know, but just dial down that the mood of this, like the musical texture of this, and that odd vocal that is a little bit like out of key at times, but it's out of key in a way that it's sliding through being out of key into something that is in key. I love that.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool. The only thing for me, I'm just not a massive fan of drum machine sound, like when things sound like a drum machine. And like a lot of people like that, and I'm sure you like that too. Maybe you've got a drum machine, maybe you like working with it, but I prefer to see a little bit more kind of organic sound in drums. So I'm biased by saying if the music in the background had a little bit more organic feel to it, I would like it a little more. But overall, very cool, unique. It's original mix, it says, and it is an original mix. Like it's very, very original what you've done here.
Yeah, and one thing that catches my ear, which I like, is the contrast. You'll have a big bass hit, boom, and then you'll get into your kind of funky syncopated thing, and you kind of walk in and out of that, and it keeps me engaged, which is cool.
That's cool as fuck.
That was a nice little I'm gonna listen
really
to
cool.
let's listen to that again.
Yeah. Happily. I'd get rid of the second kick though.
Yeah, just keep it
I'd
on
have
that
it just
one,
go boom, wow. But having that second kick again, it's I just feel like it's unnecessary. That one, you want to be accentuating the one for that to feel cool. You don't really need to you don't need to push it any further and say here's the two as well.
Yeah. And then that little scoop with the top loop sample going into it, I like. That was
Really
fun.
cool.
Okay, we're gonna hear it the third time now. Yeah, one kick.
You could even get rid of both kicks. feel like that little like delayed percussion fill. I don't know what the breakdown is yet, but that delayed percussion fill should go into the breakdown. I don't necessarily. I said I love long songs, but I don't think this needs to be 9 minutes long so far.
Yeah.
To have that little delayed percussion fill go into whatever is usually, I can't see what the timestamp is of it, but to go into the bit where we no longer have peaks and it's clearly a defined breakdown. I haven't heard the breakdown yet, but I would like that.
Yeah.
Rather than coming back into these drums.
Yep. I agree with you. Said my way of saying it is it's starting to drag a little bit for me. I'm waiting to see where it's going, and then you got my hopes up with that delay thing, and it's like, oh, there's more of this groove. Not that it's a bad groove, but you know, I'm just
a breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can just get rid of this section. That drill,
100%.
that drill sound didn't give me anything new, really.
Because it wasn't adding to something like it was adding to something which ultimately I know. Again, I can see the waveform. I wouldn't in a club, but like it's building to something I know is just going to go down, but it's not building enough. So I think that delayed percussion into whatever this breakdown is going to be. That's my bet, just off looking at the waveform.
Yep. There's that double kicking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or just make it a sub kick.
Mm.
Yeah, instead of having that kick be like the actual kick you use in the track, make it just like a big search for in your sample folder 808 long, and just put a boom and filter the shit out of the top end. You don't need any of that click. Beautiful.
This is cool.
Yeah, this is amazing. Sounds very mono though. I'd like a little bit more stereo. Maybe like auto pan some stuff.
Could that be Zoom? Because I'm hearing panning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, potentially.
It could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a motif, but it's not a motif I think that's particularly strong. Amazing.
That was cool. Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening in stereo right now, actually.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
I don't know. I didn't. You mean like the delayed kind of thing in the
I think
silence?
it's really odd, and like the idea of it is very cool. I think it could sound a bit better, and I don't necessarily know what I mean by it sound a bit better, but maybe affect the delay, the actual delayed signal a little bit more as well. Maybe put like something wild, like a flanger on it or something. But it just feels a little bit like you could cut that completely and just go straight to the drop, and it would work as well. But I think you should push the weirdness if you're going to do that weirdness.
Yeah, if you weren't here, Alex, I would have just said, I'm not feeling it. I would say to drop it, but I think your approach is better, which is try to push it to the max, and if that doesn't work, then drop it.
Maximal on that moment. Yeah, and then exactly. Yeah, if it doesn't work, get rid of it, because I don't think right now it's necessary. Does it suck? No, not at all. Like, it's a cool idea, but it could be better, or you could save yourself 3 seconds on the song length.
Yeah.
It'd be 9 minutes and 6 seconds.
That was a big, this is a recurrent thing. That was a big breakdown. Now the question up for discussion is, was the payoff worth it? for me, it kind of is, because I actually lost track of the one with that delay that wasn't exactly on time. It took me by surprise, which I liked, that's another way of doing it. It's not a home run payoff for me though, but
I think you could get rid of the synth. So like have it drop like dry, like small and dry, and maybe add like a little rim shot going like da-da, da-da, da-da,
There you
da-da.
go.
So you like, kind of musique. That label is like Adam Port and Ramper and all of those guys. They do that very effectively, where you have this big epic breakdown and it drops into something fucking tiny. It's just like a kick and a bass. But you have always in their tracks, there's like some sort of like rim shot. Or some sort of like clave sound that keeps this rhythm going. And I think if that breakdown had dropped into something very dry, like I would happily have that synth come back in again for maybe 15 seconds, and then let's go to the outro. But yeah.
cool. We'll just jump through a little bit. Oh, that was kind of like a cool feel. That was almost
I
like
love
a
that, yeah.
that reminded me.
breaky.
Yeah, like it reminded me of like early 2000s, like hybrid kind of.
Yeah.
This like cool breakbeat stuff. Yeah. Let's just in the interest of time, I think we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah, I think that's a good overview. Again, melodically on this track, like the previous one, I think this is fantastic. Like you've made something very original, but I think just maybe work a little bit on dialing down the drum machine-ness, and you can still use drum machines, but just make everything a little bit tighter, because that music it's subtly musical, and I think subtle drums, like a subtle groove, just less of the open 909 hat and the big claps and stuff, and that double kick. That's the main thing. Get rid of the double kick.
Yeah. Very cool. So we're at about an hour and a half. Alex, I just want to be respectful of your time, especially because.
Oh no, I got fuck all to do. It's
Cool.
9:30 here, and I've still got like 4 more beers. So.
Okay, well let's just keep going. I'm
here-
enjoying this.
I honestly, I would rather be doing this than not doing this.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's jump through a couple more. Actually, just to give my ears a break, they're getting a little desensitized. Let's talk like music and creativity for a minute or two.
Yeah.
Alex, what's your? Oh, one second. I just need to pause this before it starts playing. Alex, so I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One is how you start a track, and then the second is when you know you're finishing a track. The first one is, how do you start working? Do you sit around and do you twiddle random things? Is there a sample that you find that you're inspired by? Do you have a spark of inspiration before you go to bed and you say, this is what I'm going to create? How do you begin your work?
I think when I first started producing, I tried to find the answer to that question as like a single answer. I tried to be like, oh, well, I'm a guy that starts with a kick, or I start with a bass line, or I make a cool pad sound. And I think the better and better my music has become, partly that's because of the fact that I'm very open to starting things in different ways every time. And a lot of times, especially since using the new software I use, Bitwig, which is very kind of open, like very open-ended in how you decide to go about things. Sometimes, like I did a video the other day on making a piece of music that the melody was 2 pianos playing the corresponding notes of a legendary chess game in 1985.
Wow.
Between Karpov and Kasparov. And what's cool is if you look at a chessboard, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And like, forget the H. What you've got there is the A minor scale. So let's just call the H A up an octave. Every then chess move could be notated by D2, or like, knight takes F6.
Oh.
And those notes can then easily be applied to a MIDI channel. So I basically made 2 MIDI channels. And long story short, I mean, you can go watch the video if you're interested in this. I don't need to waffle on it too long. It's a 30-minute video. By the
I
way,
am
so.
definitely going to watch this. I love chess. And this is, I'm slightly aroused right now.
But yeah, that sort of just stands as like an example of like, I don't think it's going to become a song by any means. Like I have the project file saved. I think it's more of a novelty, but I'm very open to trying things that maybe are a bit lofty or you feel a bit silly at first. And sometimes, sometimes like I just start with a fucking kick drum. Or lately I've been doing, being very lonely and all on my own and with no musicians to meet up with. I've been trying to sing and play guitar and play bass and stuff. And I've been starting a lot of songs just on the sofa with a joint and a cigarette. And I just like come up with a song. And like I try to take the song, and this is more in my kind of country folk stuff I'm doing. But I try and create the song before I even open the computer. And that's like completely different to how I would have worked back in 2014 or so. So I guess my takeaway advice for that is just be very open to feeling silly. Try things, you know, see if it works. And if you find something that works, don't stop trying new things as well. Come back to it, but you'll drive yourself into the ground if you think you found the formula. Because 3 weeks down the line, a week down the line, 3 days down the line, suddenly that formula won't work anymore, and then you'll beat yourself up about it. So, you know,
that
look for inspiration everywhere.
There's John Cleese of Monty Python. He was absolute comedic legend. But it turns out, I guess, in his later years, he was giving a lot of talks on creativity. And I was watching one of them on YouTube, and I'm gonna butcher it. I haven't watched it in 5 years, but his fundamental thesis is the most important thing for creative success is play, where you're playing around without an attachment to an end goal or a label that you're going to release on, or even releasing it at all, or even that you're going to finish the track.
Yeah.
Your mind has an open state and it has a closed state. And I think I got that right. So it's about putting your mind in that open state where you're playing just for the sake of playing.
Yeah.
And so much will pay off. And yeah, take it from John Cleese. I mean, there's definitely lots of play in his work.
Almost definitely. I would also say, don't be afraid of opening a blank project file. Okay, wait, let's preface that with, don't be afraid of working on something, enjoying what you're working on, and then just doing command new, you know, and just starting something else. And maybe it doesn't work, like it's like throwing something at the wall. Does it stick? Nah, it sticks for a little while, and then it starts to fold down on the floor. New. Don't be afraid of making 100 projects a day. I have thousands and thousands of songs that will never see the light of day, but I got just as much working on them than I did of the things that I have millions of plays on. You know, it's like at the end of the day, I've had the best. I'm so grateful for my job because I have the best time every fucking day making music, and that's the goal. It's not to release on a big label. It's not to make loads of money. I have my goal. I'm happy. You know, it's just a case of maintaining that friendship with my creativity that allows me to be that happy. So that answers my question.
Well, then the second half, which you're kind of leading into, is how do you decide that a piece of work is worth finishing, and that you finished it. Yeah, when it's finished. I to me, that is the hardest thing for me to do, to decide something is finished. And I think that applies to many artists across multiple disciplines of art, whether it's writing or painting or whatever. How do you decide when something is finished?
I think my approach to creativity is very similar to my approach to hobbies and restaurants and TV shows in general, that like I get bored very quickly. And I sort of liken myself to maybe a golden retriever chasing an ambulance, you know, and the ambulance gets away and then another car turns up and I chase that instead. And I think my approach to creativity falls in line with that because of the fact that I will work on something as long as I'm interested in it. And I sometimes I have a problem when I work on music, and that's that I forget to eat and I forget to take care of myself, and that's something I have to work on. Like genuinely, like I can easily stay up far too late just working on music, and I can forget to eat for a couple of days if I'm really inspired by something. I have to set alarms, have lunch, but the thing that I take away from it is that like if I'm working on something and I'm happy to be working on it, and I can genuinely ask myself, am I happy to be working on this? I'll keep working on it. And as long as I feel like I want to work on it, if the amount of time that I've worked on it and been happy with working on it coincides with it getting to a stage where I think I'm happy to let it go, it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't strive for that anymore by any means. But again, it falls into that boredom category, that if I've got to a point where I'm happy with something and bored of it, I put it out. If I got to a point where I was bored of something, I don't put it out. And if I got to something where I was happy to work on it, but I didn't quite get to a point where it sounded good enough when I got bored with it, again, I don't put it out. So it's just very much a case of like, I'm not attached to things. And the other thing I was going to say, and this is a game changer for anyone who hasn't realized this yet, but all of those things that you make, even while taking a shit, you know, you've got your laptop on your lap and you're like, oh, I've got 5 minutes. I'll just make a little loop. Save them in a folder called ingredients. And whatever software you're using, most of them allow you to like drop down open the folder of other project files without closing your current project file. Or if you're using Bitwig like me, you can have multiple project files.
That's the one thing that's like got me really, and it's like not an expensive, it's not an expensive operation. You can just have a bunch of projects open. And
I just got Ableton 11 as well, because I do like recording my kind of band stuff in Ableton, just because it's my second love. But the thing about having all of these hundreds, if not thousands, of little ideas that I made on the train, or when I had 10 minutes before I had to leave for a train, you know, those kind of things, there may be one good thing in there that just so happens to be the one thing that you're working on now needs. And if you just drag in that synth lead thing or that conga pattern from that project file that you liked one thing from into a project file where you like 19 things from, you've then ended up with this fusion of not just cool sounds, but, and this is the most crucial thing, because I can be a bit like lofty and maybe a bit kind of like airy-fairy when I talk about creativity at times, but I think a large part of what makes a song special is where you were and who you were and what was happening in your life when you made it. And I think what's very interesting about making a song on a Tuesday and then making another song on a Friday and bringing in some parts from that Tuesday, but then also some stuff from a year before, is that you've now fused all of these different versions of yourself, of what you believed the world was and who you were and what you liked to eat. And, you know, all of these kind of things, they make something that the listener won't know, but they will. They won't like literally know. There will be no words to come to mind to express the feeling that they're feeling, but they will understand that you cherry picked the best of yourself across a large growth period of your life. And I think that's the most interesting. The best songs I've put out are the ones where it's like a combination, like a higgledy-piggledy combination of a year's worth of music all just jumbled together.
Interesting. You know, a related that was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you, buddy.
A related follow-on idea is, me personally, I don't use Bitwig, so I don't have the luxury of very cheap operations to pick and choose. But I'll never close Ableton without doing an export first. Every single session that I do.
Interesting. That's okay. I don't do that, and like instantly, I'm going to start doing that because it's committing.
Yeah, it's committing. I mean, it's. I actually don't do it from a committing point of view, but it's almost just a historical log. And if that's for two things. One, I get frustrated when I'm at that 60, 70, 80% point and I feel like the finish line is so far away. I think, unlike you, I'll hate my work when I get to the end point of it. But I'll actually look back on other tracks. For me, I find that for me to finish a track, it has between 13 and 16 revisions, 13 and 16 Ableton sessions. And I'll have, you know, track X V1, track X V2, track X V3. And I'll use that as a source of inspiration for myself to say, oh, well, I'm at track V9. I'm like pretty frustrated right now. I don't know if I'm going to finish. But most of the time, my creative process, and you know, this is the way I approach, takes that many revisions. So it gives me a way to kind of visualize where the finish line might be. And I use it as inspiration where I listen to the V1s and the V2s of other tracks that I was happy with. I'm like, man, those sucked. But it's just a reminder that, oh, I just have to keep working on it, you know, rather than giving up on it, because it takes 15 revisions for it to finish. And lastly, if it's just even a stupid idea, it's similar to the Bitwig thing, just having it exported in a file where I can just quickly listen to it on my phone or on a train or whatever without having to open the whole project file and just having it accessible. It makes it easier to draw from inspiration and decide what project to go back and visit.
Because that means that, like, again, like as I said, I don't do this, but instantly I've taken everything you've just said on board, and I'm going to include this into my workflow.
Awesome.
Because sometimes listening to something at your computer is just a little bit too much pressure.
Yeah.
You know, like sitting down in front of, even if you don't have the project file open, you're just listening to a bounce you've uploaded on SoundCloud. Like, it's a little bit too much pressure because it's like, well, I have to fix this now, you know. Whereas sometimes if you go to the supermarket, and I personally can't put headphones on, I can't wear sunglasses, and I can't put my hood up because I feel like I'm out of the world. So I find it very difficult to listen to music like on headphones while I'm walking around the city, because I just, it's not even a fear that I'm going to be hit by a car. It's just like I feel like I would rather use my time away from music.
Totally, 100%.
But sometimes being able to just play something while you're cooking, you know, or being able to just play it on your phone while you're in the shower, that kind of stuff, things jump out to you in a way that maybe they won't if you're sat down, like pressuring yourself to, like, you know, suddenly quit your job and, like, you know, make a career in music now.
Completely.
Because I have the fucking project file in front of me.
Completely. All right, well, awesome. And poor Will Andrews, he's sitting here. He's like, oh, they were about to listen to my track, and now they've gone off rambling for 20 minutes.
Can we listen to Will Anders' song?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, always love talking to you about music, and this is a good opportunity and a good opportunity to reset our ears a little bit. I'm down to go for another 19 minutes or so. You want to wrap up?
I can
then?
do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Let's try and get through 2 or 3 more if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Love your drums. Love your vibe already.
Yeah,
very
this
cool.
sounds really nice.
Into it, 100%. Also, the waveform is very, like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Whoa, that came in nicely.
Yeah, really cool.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, Will. Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh, really cool.
Just great layering, dynamics.
Yeah, like, I haven't been bored or shocked in a way that I wouldn't want to be at all. Heartbreaking.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little dragged. It was like I had no. I'm just starting to be like, huh.
When those drums just came back in, like, instantly I was like, I don't want the drums yet. Like,
Yeah.
hold the mood you were doing, but maybe, like, fuck with some reverbs and delays with your hands or something, or maybe just like maximalism approach. Add some textures in the background. Add the sound of a market in Turkey. Add like the sound of your car starting. Just just to make it so that there are, because that's another quick little tip is I think I get away at times with repeating something for the entirety of a song because of the fact that like I turn the grid off, so it's like I don't snap to anything, and I just go on freesound.com and I download a bunch of like ambient sounds, things happening, you know, like all sorts of weird things. Like I'll just Google like a duck quacking, and I'll just literally throw them on the project file with literally zero care. You know, I just literally, it's like throwing paint at a canvas. Some of them will work, some of them won't. The ones that don't, I get rid of them. But the ones that do work are often the things where people then tell me that, oh, that moment in the song, like, how did you think to do that? And it's like, I didn't. I literally did not. I just threw some fucking sounds in it. And I feel like you could get away with, one side note I was going to say is, if I could hear this song be a little bit further towards something I don't quite know yet, I would happily release this on my label and do a remix of this. But it's not quite there yet. But I absolutely, I love this. I think it's a very cool track. But it's not there yet.
The one.
But send it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything so far is great. Everything feels right. There's a few surprises. The one thing that's just nagging me, and it could just, I think this is a personal thing, that lead sound, the ding 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 ding, it feels really cliche for the genre. Ding ding, that thing. Yeah, just that lead sound.
It's like a koto or whatever that instrument is, like the zither or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but this is personally, I know there's a whole sub scene of this going on, which is totally cool, but I'm a little fatigued by that sound. I think, but it's totally a personal call. But I wonder if there's room to play with.
Yeah, I was gonna say
another texture.
I don't think I'm familiar with the kind of music that would do that. But I do agree that probably one of the parts of what I was saying of it getting a little bit closer to what I'm not quite sure is just ever so slightly increasing the amount of randomness. And I don't know whether you use what software you use, but the new Ableton has added this sort of probability part as well. And I think if you were to make it so that like you don't even have to program it in to sound like, you don't have to sit down and program it to sound a certain way. If you just allowed, I don't know again whether you can do it, but if you just allowed for the possibility of randomness across all of these sounds, especially that plucky sound, but like for the filter to open a little bit, for the feedback, the oscillator feedback to increase, for it to basically feel a little bit more generative and a little bit more kind of like moving, I would happily have that pluck sound. But I do agree that it does sound a little bit, maybe a little bit too fresh, a little bit too clean for my liking currently. But again, love it. Really, really cool vibe, and you nailed the drums. Yeah.
And just to recalibrate back to center, I mean, overall, this is really solid sounding. I mean, it's quality work.
Yeah, well mixed.
In the chat, it's a dulcimer. That's the name of the instrument.
That's the one. Yeah.
There we go.
Here I'd love a few more top and percussion loops, kind of just quietly, but just like. Maybe get rid of the kick. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the string sounding nice. We have 11 minutes. I want to get there as much as possible, but I think our feedback pretty much stands from what we said before. Overall,
should we
really
say
solid.
Instead of 11 minutes that we'll just do 2 more songs?
I like that. Let's say 2 more songs.
I don't want to rush things for the sake of it.
Yes.
I'd rather just say let's do 2 more songs.
I like that. That's a good call. Thank you. All right, so then let's just jump through this one to the end and then promise 2 more after this.
exactly how I would end my song.
Yeah, I'm
nice outro. I love this.
yeah, I'm like, I just kind of want to hang in this groove for a little bit, just because I enjoy
this
it.
is fucking dope. This is where I would loop it on my CDJ.
Yep.
I would play a track that I know has like a 3-minute intro.
On that
And I'd
note,
be riding that filter.
yeah. On that note, we'll see how it ends. But one thing I like to do with some of my tracks is when I have my outro, I'll try and remove the as many melodic elements as possible.
I would get rid of the zither there for sure. Oh, sorry, the dulcimer there for sure. I don't think you need any more of the main body of your track from that point on. When I said this is how I like the outro, just keep it at that. Like you can keep it that vibe for 30 seconds. If somebody's still listening at this point, it's because they want to listen to a full house track.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd skip to the next Miley Cyrus song.
I was saying from a just from a DJ mixability point of view, it can ever so slightly increase your chance of making it easier for the DJ if you have a zone of your track without any melodic elements. And then that groove can hang for minutes and minutes and minutes into the next one. Sometimes even across multiple tracks.
Especially if you've nailed those drums like you have.
Because it sounds really nice.
Said. Sometimes you keep a track looped, and then if you've got 3 or 4 CDJs, like sometimes I find as well that like I've just kept a song on.
Yeah.
Because I like the clap, I just kept it just a 2-bar loop for other songs, and you bring it down, turn it up again.
Yep. Yeah, so that point, not just this track, but to any producers, if you want to squeeze every last bit out of it, include some of the track in your outro that has no melodic elements in there, so there's no key clashes or whatnot. But okay, 2 more tracks. Great job, Will.
Great job. Love your press shot too. Really cool.
Oh, I didn't even look. Oh yeah, that is cool. Okay, I'm just trying to go in order here. So that was Will. Next we have Gotsubo. We got to Good Boy James.
Where are you reading this, by the way?
In my Discord. Do you use Discord?
I do. Yeah. Is it Atish Music?
It's called Atish and Friends. If you go to atishmusic.com/discord, it will forward you to my server.
Well, look at you with your fancy link.
I'm a geek.
You're so tech.
In a previous life. All right. Good Boy James, Han song.
Oh, I like your name.
Yeah, good boy. Oh.
I'd like to have some Good Boy James on my USB stick.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, you've got my interest.
Yeah, I'm in. Very nice.
What do you think so far?
Again, love the music, and for the first minute, I loved the drums, but I feel like I'm missing something in terms of the rhythm. And especially to have quite so long of a hold off of adding any new rhythm section to just have that hat. Maybe that could work if you'd removed the kick for like a bar before it, because then it feels like tension and release. But to have just the kick keep going and then the hat to come in, to me feels like, despite all the music being excellent and like it's still building, like it's still we've paused at 2 minutes and I don't think there's been a moment yet where it felt like you hadn't quite nailed the rise of like building into it. Maybe the sounds a little bit, the main plucky kind of thing that came in at maybe 1 minute or so could do with being a little bit more watercolored into the mix. Maybe I often like to think of things as like a good mix down to me, and not always, but like a good mix down when I listen to like Fleetwood Mac, for example. A good mix down is when everything has its own place, but it also sort of feels kind of like watercolor to me, where everything sits in its own place and slightly blends in with each other. Whereas this, I feel like at times maybe that the synth they sound a bit separate, which is only highlighted more so by the fact that you don't have any new rhythm elements come in for a first minute or so. Or 2 minutes, in fact. But yeah, really cool, really cool. Atish?
Cool. Yeah, my interest is peaked, and I think this could go. I'm still not sure where this is going or what this track is trying to be, which on one hand could be really cool as an artistic statement where I'm like really pleasantly surprised to see what it builds into, or it could just be it's not
one of two ways.
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
like this was what I didn't know I wanted, or potentially underwhelming. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Cool having that techno-y feel.
Haha. There you go. Oh! I'm like silent because the whole time I'm kind of on the edge of my seat, like waiting, kind of like hooked on seeing where it's going because it's continuously evolving and evolving and there's new layers coming in. And like the whole time, I think I'm saying this as a compliment, I'm like I'm like trying to figure out where it's going, which is cool.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery. And so it evokes a very novel, unique feeling when I'm listening to this. I'm just trying to think, and we haven't made it to the end yet, but I'm guessing there's not too many surprises. I'm just trying to think, personally from a DJ perspective. Well, I guess the first question would be, what are you trying to go for with this track? And I'm trying to think when I would play something like this.
I personally would not play this because of the reason that it's a big thing, and I don't tend to like to play big things massively. However, with a couple of changes, this is something I would listen to. Like I wouldn't play it in a set, but like I would listen to it almost as like a study, So I can imagine how you made it, but at the same time, I'm also kind of bewildered in this rather exciting way that it's very nice to listen to things where you're like, huh, okay, like it's making me think, how did you make this song? And like a lot of things don't, because I'm like, I know how they made that song. But one thing which you've nailed, which sort of goes against what I said before when we paused at the 2-minute mark, because from the 2-minute mark on to where we've got now, your use of building subtly, and like I think there's a bit when it's sort of like that loose open hat comes in, and it's kind of like a techno kind of banger, but with this very sweet, mysterious fairground music above it. But the way that builds and the noise and everything opens, there was a flawless execution from about 3 minutes on to now 5 minutes 43 of holding my attention without really making any sudden changes. Very, very cool work. And that breakdown, a little bit too bright for my liking. I'd love it if it lost a bit of that high end to then contrast with when you go back into the drop. Just a bit, so like smooth enough that people don't even realize they're missing the high end. So when that drop comes back in at wherever that is, 4 minutes 30, whatever, it feels massive. But excellent work, really cool, and great press shot. I have that comment for a lot of people.
Yeah. I guess I'll give feedback once more. Yeah, it's a very interesting track. It's like an artistic statement track. This is a personal thing. I feel like before the second breakdown, for me, I guess I don't fall as much in the maximalism camp as Tosh does. Maybe if there's some time spent on the mixdown, just so I could differentiate the elements a little bit, or maybe it's like slammed pretty hard on your master bus.
Oh, that's another thing. Definitely take the mastering stuff off and start again on the master.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we are aligned there. I mean, the elements play against each other really, really well, but for me, it was too much, and not in a way because of the tension that was created, but just because it was too loud. But overall, really interesting artistic idea.
Good boy, James.
Yeah, he is a good boy. Okay, last one. This is from WON. One or Juan.
Yeah, who knows until we can see it.
Cool. Can you hear me?
On the
Oh,
it
shit.
looks cool, though.
I just lost my audio. Uh-oh.
All audio.
Oh, okay, wait. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Okay, someone...
maybe I stopped talking or something, like an odd interval.
Oh, that was scary. No, it's someone buzzed my intercom, which for some reason cut out my entire system audio because it's connected to my iPhone. Anyway, not interesting.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, it's too technical.
My God.
All right, last track from Words of Neo. Wow, it's been a really good 2 hours here. I mean, we've
this
a
has
lot
been
of
so
good
fun.
stuff. I'm floored. I mean, I wish we could.
If you'll have me back, I'd love to do it again.
100%. We'll do this again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's jump through this last one, and then
we'll send everyone on their merry way.
Actually, yeah. Before we finish this, because people might drop off, just want to take a last second just to plug. We have Tosh as my guest, who's graciously spent his time. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. Awesome educational content and his charming, fun, playful personality. Just watch his intro video on the YouTube. It's brilliant. Check him out on Spotify. Check out his label Glitter Cowboy. and you're gonna find a lot of really nice stuff there from a thoughtful, talented, sharp guy. And for me, thanks for tuning in. If you want to support me, the best way is on Patreon. Oh, the best way is to listen to my music anywhere or show up to a gig. I'm happy. But if you want to go above and beyond, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/atishmusic. And thank you very much for tuning in. And here's the last tune from Words of Neo.
It's the closer.
Yep.
The club's closing in 6 minutes, 15 seconds.
Yeah, I'll bring out the broom.
Lights up halfway through the track.
Exactly. There's a promoter breathing down my neck. Oh, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Please work. Please.
Did my intercom ruin everything? No! Let's open a new tab.
Have you got another browser?
I do, but it's going to mess up my Zoom.
Classic. Yeah.
It's going to be... Well, I'll spend...
Come on!
I'll spend 1 minute on it. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to open in an incognito window and try there, and then I'll reshare.
Otherwise, this just feels like the club won.
Yeah, it's like the sound guy just cuts the sound. Yeah, it's like...
I hate that. Like, please, I know you may be fined, and like I don't have any wish to pay part of that fine, but like let me play 3 minutes past 6 or whatever.
Exactly. I even opened the incognito window. It's not working. I'm just gonna open it in Safari just to be doubly sure. You guys can't see that right now, but I'm opening this in Safari.
Potentially, I could screen share with audio and play it. If we do owe it to this Words of Neo guy, if not.
It's just with my Streamlabs setup and all this. It might be a disaster, but you know what? There is no harm in... Oh, God. Now I'm getting a beach ball of death.
Oh, no.
Okay.
What? Was it the fucking intercom?
It was the intercom. I should have put my computer in Do Not Disturb mode. Words of Neo. Well, Alex, let's try. Let's just go for broke.
Yeah, let's give it a go. Like, I do most of my lessons over Zoom, and in theory, I don't know where... I mean, because you're streaming currently, so I'm just part of your stream.
Yep.
If I share my Google Chrome or whatever I'm going to use and share sound, in theory, it should come through. So let's give it a go. If you can post it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do that. I have a feeling it won't because I'm doing some screen cropping to show up in Streamlabs. So your face might get cut off for a browser window, but let's see.
That's fine.
Yeah, as long as we can hear your voice. All right, I just shared it again at the end of Discord Demo Day channel.
Oh, the thing is, I can't join your Discord. The link didn't work. Oh, there we go. Join server. What am I talking about? Sorry, that was a total lie. Oh, invalid thing. Are you able to send the link in Zoom?
Yes.
And then afterwards, I want to sort out joining this Discord situation.
Okay,
For some reason, I'm like an 80-year-old man today of joining your Discord. It's just not working. I'm clicking all the keys.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I definitely want
to
figure that out. Okay.
Oh, you need to enable screen sharing. Oh yeah, you need to just click the little button beside screen share and then allow multiple participants.
Yes. Share screen. I do this.
Yeah, like down there should be like a little green icon at the bottom of Zoom that says share screen, and there's like a little kind of qualifier arrow next to it as well that it will come up with a context sensitive menu where you can click allow. Oh, there we. Okay, in theory.
I to share now.
Oh no, you're back. Okay, so I've got the track here. Oh, it's really cool too.
Oh, all right. Oh, did you share computer audio also? Or you have to share your screen stuff?
Okay. No. Oh, you've allowed it. Okay, cool. So where are we? Opera, share sound. Yes, I use Opera.
Wow, impressive.
Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, right. I need to change my thing to Zoom audio device. Okay, right. Yeah, this probably isn't going to work.
We could promise Words of Neo next time I host Alex here, which we'll definitely do again. We can promise that you will be the first one that we review.
100%. Yeah, because this is really cool. And also, I've got this link now, so sorry, but I'm gonna keep listening to this shit. This private link is mine now.
And if you want, I mean, even though we all can't hear it, do you want to just, just give a few words of what you think so far? So at least he gets something. I mean, he waited this long,
100%. I think the vocal is super unique, and like the way, like it sounds almost Radiohead-ish without sounding like Radiohead. I think what you've done here, and I'm just skipping through. The drums, especially the hats, are just masterfully sharp, masterfully crisp. It doesn't push past a boundary of feeling like, they're too bright. But you've nailed that, again, kind of music sound of having very, very bright, sharp hat shaker sound. And all of the synths, everything, the drums, the stereo field. Maybe it's just because I've been listening to everything mono.
Right. Yeah.
Like, now listening to it properly, like it sounds fantastic. This is a finished track right here. Oh man, it's just beautiful. Like I really love this. It's a shame that we can't share this with everybody else watching. But
This is good TV right here. Watching you listen to music.
yeah, it's a really, really cool song. What was your name? Let's see.
Words of Neo.
Oh, Words of Neo. Yeah. Really, really fucking cool stuff. Where are you
Awesome.
from? Oh, it doesn't say. Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't share it with everyone, but really
Awesome.
good.
And just quick, if someone wants to there's a question in the chat. If someone wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way? Via Instagram or?
You can message me on Instagram, which is just @officialtash, official TACHES, or you can also email me at hello@tashteachers.com. And I'm assuming through this it will be more of a case of that. If you want to get in touch with me for my label to release anything, it's alex@glittercowboy.com. But either one of those emails, like it's not like it's a different person answering it, so whatever, just
Here's what we'll do. We'll get you set up in my Discord, and then you can paste those links in this channel here.
perfect. Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
Let's do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been such a pleasure, and I've really enjoyed this, and I've really loved listening to all this music. It's really fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure for me as well. We'll do this again. And everyone, it was a pleasure listening to your music. Yeah, just really, really inspiring. And I hope you guys found it helpful in moving forward. And I hope you found it as helpful as we enjoyed listening to it, which is
100%.
an everyone win kind of thing. But all right, well, with that, we're going to sign off, and we'll catch you guys next month. Sorry if we didn't make it to everyone's submissions. There's just not enough time. I should be changing diapers right now upstairs. But if you want to guarantee your submission gets heard next month, you can, if you sign up on Patreon. I promise that I will listen to your demo on the stream. And with that, thank you, everyone. And
Wait, is your studio in the same building as where you live?
yes, we moved.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's
You must be living the dream. Go upstairs, hang out with the bubba, come downstairs, play with the push.
It is a dream because there's no commute to work, but it's also disastrous because we originally moved into this place thinking we were going to run this studio as a business to generate, side income, and then like the pandemic hit, and then every single session stopped. So it's like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna
Got
be
a lot of time to work now.
Yeah, I guess I'll just work here every day. But no, it's an amazing situation. It's actually 3 rooms. There's a drum room over there with a drum set.
Stop it.
There's a big room